Hi everyone, Michelle Wilson here, and I'm with Corey Charlick with C2 Drone Services. So tell me a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, Michelle, we are a small, based out of our home business right now, drone service provider. And I say drone service provider because there's so much that we can do with drones. Obviously, we can do real estate photos, which we haven't focused a whole lot on because there's a large number of people going in that direction wanting to do that.
Right.
I wanted to do something a little more specialized, and I've been in the engineering field for almost 20 years. So using drones for mapping and gathering survey data was just kind of a natural flow of things for me. So we can go and fly our drone and we can get a 3D map of the ground surface and provide that to our engineering clients or surveyors. And we can do it a lot faster and a lot safer than you can with a regular field crew. But moving into 2020, I want to focus more on the Milliken and Weld County community and what they have to offer, and going with some agricultural services. We've picked up a new sensor that can monitor a corn crop and identify parts of the field that maybe aren't as healthy as the rest of it, just by flying over it and mapping it, so that the farmer can then be very precise and targeted with his fertilizing and his needs to make his yield better.
Sure. Instead of walking around
Instead
in the
of
corn
walking or just
back out.
fertilizing the whole thing blanketly, and it's a waste of money then if you're fertilizing the whole field when you don't need to. So it helps us help them focus in and get better results for themselves as well. So we'll be working to reach out to lots of local agronomists and implement dealers and stuff to make contacts as the planting season is getting closer.
Yes, already, yes. So what made you get into drones, and what did it take to get started? Because I know you have to work with the FAA and trying to get your license and all that jazz.
I did have to get my FAA certification, which, don't let that fool you, it's not a hard test to pass. It's just a written exam saying that you have a basic understanding of the FAA rules. Now, aside from that, I've taken a couple of other courses and have my top 2-level certification from AUVSI, which is the Association of Unmanned Vehicle International, something like that. There's only like 50 of us in the country right now with that top level 2 certification, and that's all safety oriented. And you have to prove you can fly. To get the FAA one, you don't have to fly at all. So beware when you hire somebody that just has their FAA certification. We've gone a step above that. So how did I get there? I was into RC cars for a while and was racing those competitively, and was an assistant team manager for a national company, and just really got into that. And I was like, drones are kind of related to that. It's all hand-eye or coordination and stuff. And it's like, I could tie that into what I already do for work, so then work could become a little bit of play and a little bit of fun.
Right.
And I can get outside and get out of the office a little bit more. And after being in the field for 20 years and being inside almost all the time, it's nice to get out there and do something. And to go fly a drone for work, I mean, it's playing, really. I mean,
tough.
yeah, I know, it's tough work. When it's really windy, it gets a little hair raising though.
I can imagine. So do you have one of the, how big are your drones?
So I have 2 drones right now, and they're both just DJI models, something you can walk into Best Buy and purchase. On one of the Phantom, my bigger one, I have a separate sensor that I bought for the agricultural work. So it's got your standard camera, and then it's got this other sensor that can see almost infrared wavelengths to see what the plants are doing. So that was an add-on, and that was a pretty expensive sensor. So I had to send that off to the company so that they could install that. But otherwise, it's pretty easy to get into, I mean, you get your drone, and lots of people do photography with them, and I'm kind of a budding photographer myself. I just got into that in August as a hobby. So that'll tie together later too, but it's tying hobby with work, I think, so.
Awesome. So your goals the next year then is working more with farmers and on crops and...
Yep, as we move into 2020, we want to focus more on, the locals and the farmers, and being able to help with that. I've been around the country. I've flown mine sites in Nevada, a few of those, and lots of different roof inspections and that sort of stuff up in Aspen, Snowmass, and that area, flying $1 million homes in the middle of big windstorms and stuff.
Yes.
So it gets a little bit crazy, but.
So what's been your favorite project so far?
My favorite project is probably just doing the mine site work so far.
Okay.
Just because you get out in an area and you're flying at their open pit mines. So they're big giant holes in the ground and they're big giant piles of dirt. And the scale of a mine site is huge compared to what we see in our regular day-to-day life. The equipment is massive. The tires are 13 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just acres and acres. To go and see that in person, it kind of puts your humanity in perspective a little bit, and how small you really are when you're looking at something that large.
Yeah, when just that one tire can crush your whole car in an instant. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. It puts safety in a perspective too, and that's what drones are really great for, is doing things safer than we've been able to do in the past.
Without putting people in a position where they shouldn't be
in a risk, and it's faster, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So you are a Colorado native, but you're kind of from all over Colorado. So
I am. I was born in Colorado Springs and lived there till my early teens. And then my parents had decided that they'd had enough of the big city, so we moved to the Western Slope, where I graduated high school in Delta.
okay.
And I met my wife, who you'll meet later, with Savvy Office. I met her in Grand Junction, and you know, we've been married 13 years, and we decided as a couple we weren't crazy about the big city. And after living in Texas for a while, we knew if we came back to Colorado, we wanted either northern Colorado or the Western Slope, because of the smaller community, the nicer, friendlier atmosphere, is not quite as hustle and bustle. So we lived in Loveland for a number of years, and we moved to Milliken this past May, and we're really enjoying it. It's kind of neat to brag and say that we live in a one stoplight town, soon to be a two stoplight town. But it's nice, and the parents enjoy coming over because it's slower pace, and once they get through Denver, they can relax a little bit.
Get through the traffic.
Yep.
So what's your favorite thing about Johnstown Milliken so far? Because
So,
you just moved
yes,
here in June, you said.
We just moved here this past June, so we've been here a year and a half. Just the feel on the community. I mean, you know you live in a small town community when you drive down Main Street at 5:30 at night and people are driving 5 below the speed limit.
Right? Isn't that wonderful?
It's like, wow, we really do live in a small community, you know, and people still wave at each other some. And it's nice to feel comfortable and not always have to be in your shell or in your protective zone of your car. And
Slow down a little bit.
it's nice to be able to breathe and relax when you're at home and in the community. So that's my favorite thing.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you,
You're very
a
welcome.
newbie to the community. So thank you for chatting with me a little bit today about C2 drone services, and we'll have a little bit more of an article style along with this video, so you can learn more about Corey and what he's doing this next year and in the future with his services and personally. And yeah, so thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you,
and
Michelle.
we will see you around.
All right,
Sure.
sounds great.
Thank you.